Hi guys. If you guys want to go to leave a comment or light a candle on my stepmom's funeral site for her obituary, here is the location. You can leave it right there. www.warefh.com www.warefh.com if you guys would like to. Okay, so this story is called Miracle at Christmas, and by Phillips Brooks, Episcopal Bishop, writes, "This is what you are to hold fast to yourself, the sympathy and companionship of unseen worlds." Now this is the story of a miracle at Christmas. When Emily Long's husband, a career Army officer, left active duty and found a consulting job that involved traveling about 20 days each month, Emily and their 3 school-age children moved to a hilltop dwelling in New England, where Emily's parents lived. They were elderly and needed as much care as the children, Emily says. It was a busy time for her. Emily had enjoyed being a military wife, but she was looking forward to settling down. Her only regret was that there would be no additions to the Long family. Several years earlier, she had had surgery that would probably prevent another pregnancy. Emily prayed the doctors were wrong, but she was almost 40, and the possibility of a miracle grew fainter each year. Emily hadn't been settled long when she came down with a fierce virus. It sidelined her for weeks, but when she went to her doctor for a final checkup, she noticed that instead of losing weight during her ordeal, she had actually gained. The doctor thought I had a tumor, she recalls, but when she sent me for tests, neither of us could believe it. Emily was going to have a baby. In the midst of her joy, however, there was apprehension. No normal delivery was possible, the doctor said. Emily, already high risk because of her age, must go to a specialist in another city for a cesarean section. The due date was debatable, December, January. In the 1950s, technology couldn't be more specific. And was the baby healthy, or had the virus affected it? With her husband away much of the time, and several people depending on her, Emily wondered how she would manage. Fall turned into winter. Emily did chores, talked to her husband long distance, watched over her parents and her children, and prayed for God's protection for her unborn baby. But there were times, especially when the house quieted at night and she contemplated the difficult path ahead, when her faith wavered just a bit. Christmas vacation from school was about to begin the day Emily left for an assessment from the specialist. He was going to do a final x-ray, which should show when the baby would be large enough to deliver. She says it was cold, and snow had started to fall, but the 20-mile drive through picturesque New England towns was uneventful. However, Emily walked out of the doctor's office right into a blizzard. Her first thought was of her children. Her parents could care for them only so long without needing help themselves. The sooner she reached home, the better. But the roads were treacherous now. What about her own safety and the baby's? What if she crashed or slid into a ditch? Would anyone find her? Once again, she felt that terrible isolation. If only she wasn't so alone. The journey seemed to take hours. Emily prayed nonstop, her muscles aching as she struggled to keep the car on the road and to see through the whirling flakes. There was little traffic, but she approached the last mile. She realized the incline was too slippery. She turned toward a longer but less steep back route. Carefully, Emily maneuvered up and the back road, slow enough to keep traction or to stop if any cars approached, but fast enough to prevent skidding or getting stuck. There was one right turn to make, then the final slope. The snow was icing thick under her wheels. Emily turned, increased speed, spun out and stalled. Oh dear God, she was stuck now, with visibility almost nil and a steep hill in front of her. Perhaps she could climb it on foot, but the abandoned car would be a hazard to any unsuspected motorist. There was sand in the trunk. Could she try to spread it on or dig herself out? Emily thought of the shovel and the strain digging would put on her an already exhausted body. But what else could she do? Leaving the engine idling, she opened the door, then stopped in surprise. A tall man was making his way across the road toward her. He wore a long, dark gray overcoat, and his hat was pulled over his eyes against the blowing snow. A station wagon stood just behind him, facing her. It was strange that she hadn't seen or heard it until now. "Stay in the car," the man called to Emily. "I'll get you out." His voice brooked no argument, and Emily did as she was told. The man went behind her car, and in a minute she felt it begin to move, climbing the hill easily through the deepening drifts. How incredibly strong he was, Emily thought, to push the car so quickly. She couldn't see him in the rearview mirror, but when she had reached the top, she braked, opened the window, and leaned out to shout for thanks. But she saw no station wagon, nor was the helpful figure standing behind her, waving her on. Emily's bewildered gaze fell on the snowy road next to her car. Soon the plows would clear a path for the evening commuters, but now not a track or footprints marred the white blanket, even though the station wagon must have driven toward her past this very spot. The real Christmas arrived for the Longs when baby Peter did just a few weeks arrive after December 25th, and as Emily held her small miracle in her arms, she gave silent thanks. She had thought she was alone, but she knew better now. Like another mother from a long ago time, she had gone through a perilous journey and placed her trust in God, and He had sent angels to guard her in all her ways. God sent an angel to get her out of that snow. That guy came, got her out of that snow, and when she got up to the hill to turn around and thank him, he was gone. Sent an angel, he got her out, and then disappeared. See, things like that happen. God sends an angel, they do what they're going to do, then they're gone. I hope you guys enjoyed that story, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Good night, guys.